a scooch. Here. It's not working.
Thank God there's no wheels. You go sliding all over the place.
The beauty of fencing the wall behind us. Okay. Are we ready, Adam?
Slowly.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna call to order with the pledge of allegiance.
Oh, Jesus.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do you have any agenda changes? Okay. Do we have visitor comments? Yes. Yes.
So I see one Mr. Adamsak's letter of resignation is being accepted. I just want to say that he's an excellent teacher, and it's a loss to the students and the children that he's leaving. I know my kids will miss him. My kids have had him, both Evan and Elijah. His knowledge base is deep and wide, and it will definitely be. It's very sad that he's leaving. And my hope is that the administrative team has done exit interviews to find why. I'm sure there are multiple reasons why. I have no idea. I do know that your posting for the job is still up. So you know that at least one has applied and was turned away because they were told that they are looking for a chemistry person as well. The posting on OLAS says math. Chemistry and physics, science, and what have you is there, but it is not required for consideration. So I suppose my question is, how is it benefiting the students if you have a qualified math teacher apply and it's turned away because they do not have a non-required thing on the post? So my hope is that that is somehow taken care of and that the students' needs are actually met and not some administrative box is checked.
Okay. So thank you. Would you be interested in setting up a meeting with Kathy to go over some of those questions?
Sure.
Kathy, can you set a meeting up?
Thank you.
Okay. Any other visitor comments? Okay. So we have items for discussion and or action. Motion to accept William Adamsak's letter of resignation as a math teacher effective August 20th, 2026.
Motion.
Motion by Chris. Second by Tara. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Carries. Okay. So we have an MOA here. We all received it in our packet, so I'm not going to read it, but I will have Kathy summarize this.
So in our GCSTA contract, there is language about you must work in the district for 10 years to receive the retirement benefit of continuing our insurance. The union and I have worked together to come up with an agreement to change that to 5 years of working in the district to receive the insurance during retirement, as long as all the other requirements for New York State have been met. That's the TRS system and things like that. So this will hopefully help in the long run grab some teachers that we could utilize. But it does end at the end of this contract, and it would be something that we could negotiate at that time if we felt it was still worthwhile.
Okay. Do I have a motion? No. We don't need a motion.
No, you didn't get one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's okay. All right. Motion. Motion by Kim. Second. Second by Chris. Is there any questions or any discussion on this MOA? I think we've had extensive explanation through our board packet. Everybody satisfied? Okay, so all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Staying carries. Okay, so motion to accept Nicholas Healy as a school counselor, MA +30, step 22, in the JCSTA contract effective September 1st, 2026. Motion by Tara. Is that Melissa? Second by Melissa. Any discussion on this?
Does he come with any experience?
22 years. And both high school, not evenly, I can't remember, it might be like 14
14 high school, about 7 or 8.
elementary. So he's worked in both.
So are we set up for him? Because I know we usually have, school counselors usually come in during the school year or the summer set up.
So we still have our interim, Steve, who's been working with us. It will depend, Nicholas is still hired, he's still employed at another district, he will put in his letter today. And it will depend on when they release him. But we do still have Steve to help us out.
So he will
Settled.
be kind of set up, ready to go for September 1st, if that's when he's released.
Correct.
Will we then let our interim go, or whether, since he has so much training?
So what we'll do is, in the beginning, because I'm sure Steve and Nick are going to have to figure out what each have done and to carry out. But we only pay Steve when we have him here in the
Okay.
building. So I think
Okay.
it will be probably in September, we'll probably use him. I doubt there will be any reason
Just
afterwards.
to turn the
Yeah.
information over.
Where's Nicholas from?
Granville.
So he works at the Granville School.
Okay. Is there any other discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Carries. Okay, so we have a resolution. May it be resolved that the Board of Education of the Johnsburg Central School District appoint and employs Andrew Varela to a term position as a 7 through 12 music teacher for the maximum period September 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027, subject to earlier termination by the Board of Education. This is a term appointment and not a probationary appointment. It specifically acknowledged that Mr. Varela has agreed to consideration for tenure, and such agreement is evidenced by a writing signed by both parties. Mr. Varela will receive a salary equivalent to MA Step 1 of the JCSTA salary schedule, and will receive a salary and benefits as outlined in the letter agreement by and between Mr. Varela and the superintendent of schools.
Motion.
Motion by Erwin,
Motion.
second by Chris. All right, let's have some discussion.
7 through 12, who's doing elementary?
Why it says 7 through 12, it should be K through 12.
Okay,
That's a
Let's
mistake.
change
Good-
that right
good
now.
catch, yeah.
all right, yeah.
Is it pre-K?
Pre-K
Yeah.
through 12.
Pre-K through 12. So, Erwin and Chris, do you accept that amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, good catch.
All right, okay. Any other question about this? So can you explain to us what a term agreement?
So this is what the
Yes.
lawyer had suggested. There are a couple of different ways to appoint a teacher. It is as similar as a long-term sub. But this is a way of, if something comes up, if we decide this teacher isn't working out, it forgoes their rights with, is it 30.12 or something?
30/20.
30/20 something. Basically, there's no requirement of this 30 or 60 days that we have to give them. And this gives them some protection from the union as well.
Can you give us some background on him?
Yep. So he is a certified dance instructor with music credits, just not quite enough to be a certified music teacher yet. So he sings, he dances, he plays the piano, And we have talked to BOCES, and we have Jen Lunt is her name. She's our specialist. And she has sent all of his paperwork. He has sent his paperwork to New York State, actually in consideration of getting his music teaching certificate because of all of his music classes he's taken. So he's actively working on that right now.
So that's why because he's not a certified music teacher,
Not
is
in
why
music.
we're doing a term position instead of a.
If New York State, if they say they don't give it to him, is he willing to do what he's gotta do to finish it to get those certifications?
They all have to be actively working on their certifications.
Are there any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Carries. So, here's another resolution. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Johnsford Central School District hereby appoints and employs Caitlin Bennett to a term position as a 7 through 12 math teacher for the maximum period of September 1st through June 30th, 2026, subject to earlier termination by the Board of Education. This is a term appointment and is not a probationary appointment. It is specifically acknowledged that Mrs. Bennett has agreed to waive any rights that she may have to a probationary appointment in consideration for tenure. And such agreement is evidenced by a writing signed by both parties. Ms. Bennett will receive a salary equivalent to a BA Step 1 of the JCSTA salary schedule and will receive salary and benefits as outlined in the letter of agreement and by and between Ms. Bennett and Superintendent of Schools. Be it further resolved that a leave of absence is granted to Caitlin Bennett from her teaching position as a TA to permit her to accept a term position. If during or at the conclusion of such assignment on or before August 31st, 2027, either Mrs. Bennett or the district terminates the position, she may return to her position as a TA without loss of seniority or benefits.
Is that gonna leave us in a pickle with TAs?
Let's do a motion first. Can we do a motion first?
Yeah.
Okay, motion by Tara,
Second.
second by Chris. All right, let's have this, and now discussion.
So we were able to look at the schedules. It's been a couple of weeks. We moved some things around. We've actually used some office staff in the cafeteria, taking money to tie up to free up that teaching assistant. So we are actually in an okay spot with our teaching assistants. And Kate is still able to take on some of those AIS classes that she was set up to do. So we are actually in an okay spot.
Tell us about her status.
So Caitlin has been working on getting she was actually working on 2 special ed and math degree. Spoke to our BOCES specialist, Jen Lunt, about, what classes does she need to finish. And she is super close. She's about less than a year away finishing up her degree. So again, as long as she is actively working, she is qualified to take the position.
And she's been with us for a while in the math AIS
Did
department.
we say 4 years? I believe 4 years.
So she's a known entity and you're comfortable with her.
She is, and the kids do really well with her. She has a certain way that some kids really respond well to her teaching methods. And so she seems very natural to take over while we're trying to figure this out. And we're in a little bit of a pickle with a really late resignation, trying to figure out what classes other teachers could pick up, changing schedules without having to completely revamp the student schedules. Everything has been able to remain same period. Again, with our lack of guidance counselor, Steve was here and he was like, oh, we could do this. And he really helped and facilitated being able to move teachers without disrupting the entire schedule, which anybody who is familiar with that schedule, it takes weeks, a month or so to really make sure it's dialed in. So it was a lot of work, but it came together.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same. Carried. Motion to appoint Richard Ross as a full-time bus driver effective September 1st at 2026 at level 39 of the CSEA contract with the understanding that he will stay at level 39 when the CSEA contract is finalized. Motion by Melissa, second by Erwin. Any discussion?
What is the pay for a level 39 an hour?
No, I don't want to give you a number, that's not right.
Can you email me and let me know?
So can you explain how it works? I know last board meeting, he put in we accepted his retirement. How does that work?
Maybe that might be a little bit better coming from you.
Okay, so when an individual retires in New York State, as long as they take one full day of absence after that retirement, they are able to come back. The only caveat is when they come back, our prior policy has been they remain on that level for an entire year before they begin adding steps again. And any sick time, benefits, things like that won't be paid out again. They got it paid out at retirement, so they'll get a new allotment to use during the year, but no payouts will happen at the end.
Okay. So it's like starting over as a new employee, just at the level that you left.
So their seniority goes right back to 0.
Yes.
And any days they had accumulated, those are again back to 0.
If they got paid out for it?
If their retirement
What
was.
insurance?
If they retire, their insurance has gone into a retirement insurance, so they pay separately for that. They won't.
We don't give them a buyout, right? If they opt to obviously not take it because they already have it, we don't do the buyout for them, correct?
No.
All right, any other discussion on that?
Is he here like the full year or we advertise?
Well, we're still advertised.
Okay.
But he is a new employee.
Okay.
Did we have any luck with that bus driver?
Nope, he took a job south where he found housing.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's one opposed. Carries. Motion to appoint Pamela Ross as a teacher's aide effective September 1st, 2026 at level 22 of the CSEA contract with the understanding that she will stay at level 22 when the CSEA contract is finalized.
Motion.
Okay, so Erwin,
Second.
Chris. Okay, discussion. This is the same explanation. Okay. Any other discussion? on
Yeah, I
that?
have a question.
Yeah.
If they've retired staff
Mhm.
and then they come back,
Mhm.
and you said they do start earning steps after a year,
After a year, yeah.
when they leave again, that does not go into their, they don't like get to retire at a higher level, they're just done, correct?
Yeah, no, once you've declared retirement with New York State, they use your last 3 years of highest earnings, so that even if they go up, they don't get to re-retire. So they're just retired at that level.
So they'll retire at level 39 and level 22.
Yeah.
Are we still advertising it all? Do we need any more teachers' aides, or, I mean, did we advertise it all for it to see if we can get anybody?
We have been advertising since May.
And we're assuming she'll be for the school year.
So she again is an employee.
So I guess that
And she's a teacher's aide, which is different than an assistant. So aides do not have all the same benefits as an assistant.
And is she still gonna be in the same like library type
She's
thing?
going to be in the same.
And we're in the middle of CSEA contract negotiations.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so Tara is opposed. Abstain. Carries. Motion to appoint Amanda May as the 5-6 elementary coach at $1,000 for the 2026-2027 school year. Motion by Tara, second by Melissa. Any discussion?
She did this last year. I don't know if she did it before. She enjoys, I guess, she enjoys being in everything. So this is just one more thing for her.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain. Carries.
Can I just ask a question before you go to comments and adjourn? How did we make out with the bus guy? Did he come in August? BOCES?
No, he said no. I don't know. I'll have to reach back out with him.
Yeah, because I'm curious as to what he'll say about boots and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and just because of the fact that, you know, we lost one but gained it back, but then we lost Jerry, so I'm just curious what we're gonna do for bus routes.
Fred and I met yesterday. We have a fair. And plus we have a mechanic also who is working on getting his permit. So we'll be in a better spot shortly.
But the BOCES guy that we were all set for
Yeah, he
evaluating our.
Yeah,
routes
he
did
so
not
he
come.
he came in June or July. He postponed for a week or so. So then he might have been July. He was supposed to come in June, I don't remember. And then he was supposed to come in August. Again, got postponed, so I'm not sure. He's one guy at BOCES who does all the busing. So
Yeah, we could just reach out and try to get just an idea, just in case there was any more bus drivers or something happens, and
Yeah, how hard is it to move around bus routes in the middle of the school year? I mean, it's obviously much easier to, if there was
Yes.
recommendations to do any adjustments, it's difficult to do it in the middle of the school year versus in the summer.
agreed. Again, Fred and I worked on it yesterday. Fred has we have a pretty solid plan, and there's a few things he just needed to button up. So we really are in an okay spot currently.
but everybody gets picked up in the morning. We're not gonna have to do 2 or 3 runs and have kids late, and then what are we doing with late bus runs for like sports?
Yep, working on that. I've already contacted Minerva and said that we are in a position right now where we're not going to be able to do anything extra. And I also reached out to the ADs and said, you might have to tell some of those modified schools that we might show up later because we got to get the kids home. And so we've already kind of started planting those seeds. Other schools are in the same position, and you say they have to show up later. This is kind of common at this point, but I'll know more next week when Fred has the timing down.
Will you send us an update by email on like what that's going? Just a sketch of what that's going to look
Yeah.
like when you find out.
Because that is really the one thing that parents are constantly asking me about is the busing and sports and games and, you know, things like that. So, and I just said, we're working on it. That's all I keep saying, but I'd like to have a general idea.
And that is right now
You're working on it. Yeah. So as you know, as you find out, if you'll send us up, I know you do your weekly update, which is much appreciated, but if you would send us an update when you find this out also. And how has the response been from our after school program? Any response?
I have not heard.
Are you waiting probably when school
Probably,
starts?
and that's kind of how I feel like it. You know, like I haven't had any updates about the energy plans or anything.
Okay.
It's when we're here, when it's in your face and those things, then we'll have more response, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, so is there any, we don't have an other business on here, but is there anybody else who has any other questions or other business? Okay, visitor comments.
I agree with you, Tara, on the busing. So my boys do Nordic, and I know it's very difficult, especially in the wintertime. Um, your husband has driven them up our road, and they can be squirrely as all. And Kathy, I am aware that other districts are having this issue with busing, with bus drivers. I do wonder why, because having a CDL is hard, keeping a CDL is hard, and being a bus driver is a thankless job. It is not easy. And more power to them to being bus drivers, but I think we need to make people want to be bus drivers in the sense of maybe sweetening the pot a bit. I don't know if that's a thing that can be done. I realize you're advertising as best you can, but sometimes you have to make it worth their while. I'm glad that you are also able to shuffle around teachers to fill holes that you have from unexpected resignations. I will say that as a teacher, it is hard to be told that you're going to be doing something that you're going to have to do in like 2 weeks and have almost no prep time, or if you have 4 preps. On a teacher side, that sticks in the wrong spot. So I appreciate you are aware of it, but I think your teachers should also be given far more leeway and given some grace on it. It's also not fair to the kids. So I hope when you and I have a meeting that we can chat about this.
Thank you. Any other visitor comments? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Tara, second by Chris. All in favor? Opposed?
Stephanie, can you get Bob, please?
Here it goes.